Hello and welcome. Elon Musk's Tesla has today officially entered India, so the journey has officially begun with the first showroom in Mumbai. Now, the move marks a significant step in Tesla's gradual entry into India. But what does this mean for the Indian consumer and for the electric vehicle segment in the country as a whole? Well, to decode this, I'm joined by Vikram Handa, Managing Director of Epsilon Advanced Materials. I'm also joined by Bertrand Dsouza, Senior Automotive Journalist. Thank you both for your time. First, Mr. Vikram Handa, to you. What does Tesla's India entry then mean for Tesla and for India?
Thanks for having me. I think it's great to see Tesla finally enter India. There's been a buzz around this for many years. I think Tesla, as a leader in the whole electric vehicle space, has been a real instigator with whatever market they have entered. And while we all in India have been waiting for them, I think they'll definitely ignite change and push the industry ahead. So, looking forward to that.
Ignite change. Do you agree, Bertrand?
I'm not certain it can ignite change at this point in time because the first announcements for Tesla coming into India came in almost about 4 or 5 years ago. And ever since then, it's been a yo-yo situation, coming in, not coming in. Elon Musk making statements on Twitter, so all that has happened, and at that period has allowed a lot of other manufacturers to essentially capitalize on the demand for EVs. What we aren't seeing, for instance, today is that even Kia had a launch for an EV today, for the Carens EV today, and that just happened a few minutes ago. So simultaneously, as Tesla just announced prices for their cars, there's been other launches also happening at the same time, and the market has got quite a few options. So Tesla has lost the first mover advantage. Nonetheless, there still is the perception that's been built around Tesla. So I guess we have, that sort of excitement and anticipation to look forward to. But let's see how things develop over time.
Right. So a lot really is in wait and watch mode. Of course, the initial euphoria everyone has witnessed. But Vikram Handa, what about electric vehicle infrastructure? A space that you also look at very, very closely. Electric vehicle charging stations, batteries, for instance. All those thoughts now in the minds of Indian consumers. What would you say?
Yeah, I think the government has been pushing Tesla to come into India and make a large investment into manufacturing of cars, manufacturing of cells. But I think Tesla's taken a cautious approach where they say, look, we'll import the car today and sell it. But if they can see that volume in India, then it'll justify setting up an auto plant and finally setting up a battery plant. And we've seen Tesla do that in China really well, Germany, and the US. So when I look at Tesla, I think they're here for the long game. They have lost market share in other countries, mainly because of Chinese models coming in. And I think maybe India is such an attractive auto market, they can't ignore it. And this is maybe their first step in. And I see them, if they can succeed in selling their cars and bringing more models in, they would backward integrate and set up the factories that are needed and build that supply chain in India.
Right. Bertrand, would you agree that, Tesla has also witnessed global sales decline consistently? They're also looking at entering a new market. So what does Tesla's entry into India mean for Tesla also at this point?
Well, like Vikram said, they're definitely looking at the long game. No one's going to come into or at least enter a new market and not play the long game here. So Tesla is definitely here to stay. That's for sure. Whether manufacturing will take place or not is a long shot from now, because the numbers in the EV segment that we're seeing, and I'm basing this on what the other manufacturers in the market are selling, competitors from Mercedes-Benz, BMW, BYD, Hyundai, those numbers are really small at this point in time. So is it viable to start a manufacturing process? Maybe it'll take a really, really long time for them to step into this. Keep in mind, the others who are in this segment also offer petrol and diesel options. So yes, there is a manufacturing process that enables them, not just to sell EVs. EVs just become a small part of their portfolio. So, but for Tesla, it's principally EVs, and as an electric vehicle manufacturer, that is a bit of a challenge until those volumes are sustainable. And that, I think, could take a lot of time to come, Sakshi. It's not something that will step in, that will not come in very easily. Currently, also keep in mind, Tesla has just 3 manufacturing facilities across the world, just 3 gigafactories. There's the US as a larger market. Of course, we've got multiple production facilities over there. But then outside of that, there's only Germany and Shanghai. The ironic part, I could say, at this point in time is that the cars being introduced or brought to India currently, the cars that were introduced today, showcased today at the showroom in Bandra, BKC, were imported from Shanghai. So everything that Tesla is going to get in this country probably could come from China, which, in the larger sense, in a sort of, very ironical window, doesn't look very good for the Make in India perspective, because it's the Chinese models that are coming down to India. And Tesla has no other choice apart from buying out from Germany or from the US, in which case the prices will go up even significantly higher. So it's a catch-22 situation for Tesla, but also for consumers who would want to buy into the brand.
Right, Vikram Handa, do you agree? And also initial teething problems, initial challenges that you see going forward.
Yeah, I think charging infrastructure is a big challenge, uh, definitely. But we've seen Tesla come in, set up superchargers, build their own charging infrastructure, and monetize it in the future. I think definitely four-wheeler charging infrastructure is something that CPOs have tried building in India, but again, capital and that long-term vision hasn't been there. Can Tesla be the change that does that? We see companies like Kia and Hyundai trying to build hubs with CPOs like ChargeZone. But again, if someone takes a bet on building infrastructure and bring it captive to their fleet, has to be seen. So they've succeeded in markets in China also, where there's a lot of disruption and a lot of early movers. But yeah, they have to really adopt to India. India is a very unique market, and what works in Europe and US doesn't necessarily work in India. So I think they have to be much more agile on the ground in India to see what the market says and how to move ahead.
Right, and also, we have seen globally their sales decline. Also the thoughts that really the Indian consumer will today have on the India pricing strategy. What do you have to say on that? Both of you.
So, I mean, I read that they priced the car at around 60 lakhs. I think that's expensive for a Tesla, because you have Chinese cars today, BYD and others available at much more attractive pricing. Uh, Obviously, Mercedes and BMW sit somewhere else in the price range, but then that's also perceived differently. I think it's slightly higher priced, but to be seen. They've given a lot of discounts over the years to capture market share. I don't know how they're going to play that out, but they have to be agile, definitely, in the Indian market.
Right, Bertrand, do you agree? And also, the thoughts really on India's EV sector in the near term and the long term. What does this mean then for Indian players in the market as well?
Well, there are challenges going to be there for Tesla. But the one advantage that I see with Tesla coming in is, of course, that infrastructure hub, like Vikram said, it's going to develop, it's going to increase across the country, because they've done this wherever they've gone to as well. And every manufacturer in the EV space is contributing to it, or and will continue to contribute to developing that infrastructure, because at the end of the day, it's their business, and you can't entirely rely on government to provide you with that infrastructure. If you're in a new and nascent stage where you're introducing new EVs to the market, you will have to build the infrastructure to support those products as well. And that's exactly what everyone else is doing. That's what Tesla also will do. Superchargers coming into the country will be great. I mean, it will be fantastic to see high speed, high voltage architecture and that charging facility available. Maybe not just for Teslas, but also for the other cars in the market. And I think that will democratize the usage for EVs in this country even further. Now, where the other manufacturers are concerned, I don't think they see. I mean, for them, Tesla is kind of just another manufacturer in this space. It is disturbing, I'm sure, that they've finally been able to come down here to this market, because Tesla's been able to grab a lot of mind share, which the other manufacturers haven't been able to do with their EVs, and I think that is significant. For whatever the manufacturer has done, getting that mind space in is a tremendous job. And most of the other manufacturers have had to spend a lot of money in this country to grab that attention, which Tesla hasn't had to do as of yet. For whatever they're doing in the US and elsewhere, I mean, just that has been enough to capture mind space amongst Indians also. Keep in mind, when they first went, or at least announced, then entry to India, they did talk about bookings for like some very ridiculous prices. And that effectively, there are a lot of Indians who jumped up and joined that bandwagon and wanted to book or rather own a Tesla back then. Maybe that still holds true. I'm not sure whether that that furor, that euphoria will still be there. But there will be a few people who are definitely looking forward to that brand coming into the country today. The pricing, yes, it is a bit expensive, but I think it was quite. I wouldn't say exorbitantly out of what I had estimated. I was anticipating it to be somewhere in the 45 to 50 lakh bracket. So 60 is not too bad at all. I think they managed to do a good job with that. But I also believe that because the cars are now coming in from a closer market, being imported from a closer market, so
All right, Vikram Handa, agree. And of course, for many, the price point really is what is being talked about the most, right? For many, this is way above expectations. Your thoughts on, your message to all those Indian consumers talking about the price point today. Also excited about the brand and the India launch, as you were saying. And lastly, your thoughts on India's electric vehicle momentum that is continuing to gain ground. You have said this will be a, both of you just explained how this will be a big boost for the EV infrastructure space altogether as well. So, your thoughts really in the near term and the long term, what should the Indian consumer and India's EV sector then expect?
Yeah, so I think more options for consumer are always great. You have options today from a 10 lakh car to a couple of crores car, and more options will just lead to more and more adoption. India being such a large market, there's an audience for everything, and I think India can't be ignored. It's good to see Tesla come in. I think going to the point, while some people have a first early movers advantage, you still have large companies like Maruti coming from behind, and they have a very structured strategy on how they're going to capture market share. So I think no one should ignore India, and I think Tesla has finally come and put its foot on the ground, which is great to see. I think EV adoption in four wheelers is going to still take a little time because of lack of infrastructure. But again, players like Tesla can come and disrupt infrastructure and bundle it. I think today consumers are also looking for a bundle, like something what JSW did, pay for the battery service. So these kind of innovative things, which a Tesla is really good at, could be the change that the market is looking for.
All right. Well, the spotlight really on EV infrastructure, like you both explained, the spotlight on competition and how that will change. The increased competition will change the dynamic in the EV space altogether. So we will continue to track this space. But for now, thank you for sharing your initial thoughts on Tesla's India debut.
Thanks.
thank you.